لو كان سلعة تباع لبذلت فيه الأموال العظام أو صعد في السماء لسمت إليه نفوس الكرام.
And also, I want to ask you one final question. No. Because you can choose that not to answer. Okay, it's up to you. Yeah. But I was wondering, Akhi, why are you almost looked at as such a controversial figure? And I want to say this. In the light of this, because me personally, I believe if a person is Salafi, he's upon khair. We can differ all we want, and this is why I'm open to have conversation and dialogue with anybody, and I don't really burn bridges with people of Ahl Sunnah. Yeah. And we can continue to move forward. We can fix what's going along. If we still differ, let's go back to the scholars. Yeah. So there might be some things that, for example, I might have seen from my brothers. I might have seen from Muhammad Wadi. I might have seen from you. I might have seen from anyone that I disagree with. Even in this podcast today, we disagree with some things. Does that, I don't understand why now a person should go and say, excuse or exit him from the realm of Salafiyya and use the term like he's a Hizbi or something along these lines, when just because simply he doesn't agree with you on a particular
or like we said, don't even call him Hizbi, but treat him like you.
I've heard people say this statement, particularly about you, and I was like, and I went to look and see, okay, what's the issue? Just before I even knew you, I think. And before we met, and because we really got to know each other, I think in Corona days, right? Yeah, when you were here in Riyadh,
the most that time.
Yeah,
before just
driving back to Mecca.
And then I was like, okay, what's the issue? And then I'm looking, I'm like, okay, Tayyip, I can see where you can disagree with him on some things, but to say like now he's Hizbi or he's out of the circle or things like that, I'm not on that type of. I don't think that benefits us as Salafis.
And for me to add to that, and of course, mashallah, you're a very outspoken person, and you say the haqq the way you, and you don't have to agree with everything a person says or does, as long as within the hudud of the Sharia, as long as it's not something that is clearly misguidance, right? And I'm sure every time me and you met, we always have some sort of argument about something. We don't agree and see eye to eye to everything.
The asl, but the way or something.
Bro, let me be completely honest. There's not a lot of brothers that I agree on. There's probably no brother that I agree on 100% with everything.
Of course.
There's not one brother that I can say I agree with you on everything. This is my closest of friends. Khalid, my closest of friend. I still argue with him.
I thought I was your closest friend.
You're definitely one of my closest friends.
Khalid Ugandi.
Yeah,
mashallah.
So, we'll leave it to you.
So maybe, if you could choose the answer or not, but I was just... I wonder, why do you get this type of rep? I don't think it calls for that necessity. I think I know the answer. Yeah. But I just want to hear your perspective.
I'm actually interested what you would think before I even answer. I'll answer. I don't have a problem answering. Which goes with controversial. I'm not afraid to answer anything. I won't shy away from any question. But the people who have said that, like the one who said, Hizbi, you first heard it from, and anyone that I've ever had an issue with like that in that aspect, you have to ask yourself, like, what is their reason for calling me that or believing I'm controversial? The things that I've ever heard about myself, how it started, is he wants to be independent. He's not with the brothers. If I don't
agree the traditional slogans.
Yeah. We all heard that. And it started from before I ever came here. Before I ever came here. The thing is, my personality, and which is crazy, because anywhere I've gone, da'wah wise or whatever the case is, anyone who's ever met me, it's kind of like what we're saying about Sheikh Rabi'. What the image that was given about me online, people thought I was some loud individual who's like aggressive and yelling all the time and everything. And then they meet me like, there's no way that's you who that people are talking about. I don't talk generally. If I know you, we'll have a conversation, we'll talk and everything. In general, if I'm in a gathering and I don't know people, you won't even hear my voice. I'm not a talkative person. I'm an introvert, actually. But the people who started that, rumor, or not rumor, but like campaign or whatever they were pushing, was because I didn't agree with them. So who's the actual Hizbi in reality? Because I don't agree with you, I'm a Hizbi. No, that's Hizbiyah.
Yes.
In reality, you accusing me of having something wrong with me because I don't follow you, or I don't follow your group, or I don't follow the people, whatever, especially it's things that are clearly wrong. You're oppressing this brother. I'm not going to follow you in that, or I'll call you out on it. Those guys don't like that. They like yes men more than, And so me, before I was practicing, or even, after practicing, before I was practicing, I wasn't a Hizbi before, and I was never a Hizbi after. If I don't agree with you, I'm going to say it. If I don't, if I believe what you're saying about someone is wrong, I'm gonna say it to your face. And this happened in Toronto. I mean, in certain situations. Oh, that brother's Ta'ban. Oh, is he? Okay, let's call him and let's find out. Like they get stuck. They don't like that type of thing. So that like theme, you know, that he's controversial, or controversial maybe because I you know, straight shooter basically, straight shooter. Especially even on social media and things like that. When the time was needed, I believe.
You're definitely outspoken.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Even times where I thought maybe it's a bit too outspoken here.
Yeah.
I gotta.
But me, if I believe based on what's, especially the people that I'm closest to, like let's say back home, like the community that I'm from, and the need that existed. Because I was quiet. People think that, let's say the more recent fitna that happened, that's like when it started for me. Before I came here, I had issues. Like, I actually had issues. Yeah, like they've had issues with me, you know? They've had issues with me before I ever came here. And always like rumors, and I see how people are moving with me and stuff like that. So I actually, what people don't, I was very patient actually. It took me years before I ever said one word about anything. Maybe 6-7 years of all of that happening and not saying anything. Knowing this person is slandering me behind my back, and then he's smiling in my face. Akhi, I missed you, and I know, you know what's really happening. And I don't do anything, and I still continue to go to their gatherings, still continue any lectures they have, whatever. So the time that I spoke more, you know, was more I spoke in whatever I was on social media, or whatever, was in the hudud of deen. Like I never defended myself. There's things that were said about me, accused of all kinds of things. I never defended myself in those things. But when it came to the deen, or when it came to the manhaj, or other people, scholars being oppressed, even brothers being oppressed, one of the things is not taking position against known Salafis, you know, brothers that we all know. This guy is this and that. Okay, is he Salafi? Yeah, he is. Okay, I don't want to hear it. Simple as that.
And this is where I'm at with it. Like, if we can all differ. Like, but if the person is Salafi, like, we're not talking about differing amongst Ahlul Bid'ah. We're not talking about differing amongst somebody who's clearly misguided from the Ikhwan or something like this. We're talking about people who were different with people who follow the same scholars we follow.
Exactly.
Follow the same book that we follow. Follow the same sunnah that we follow.
Exactly.
So I don't understand why I get to the had now where this person needs to be boycotted, etc.
Because
and that's one of the reasons that I honestly I didn't mind even bringing you on, because obviously I know you're definitely outspoken. You're definitely a person who's going to make sure your opinion is heard. But also I don't attribute myself to that type of methodology. I think we can have a dialogue and disagree. And I say it's not just for you, anybody. Anybody who attributes themselves to sunnah, know that I'm willing to have a conversation with you.
Imagine someone says to you, someone that you has been a close friend of yours, but then they start saying to you things like, "Akhi, why are you following Ilyās?" Or why this with Ilyās? And then that same person like maybe texts you 2-3 years later, be like, I've been patient you for a very long time. Okay, and now it's like, let's say the time to boycott you. That's basically what he's saying. And all of that, if you go back to, it's like, why are you with Ilyās and Fulan and Fulan and Fulan? And then when you say to them, Akhi, I will drop Ilyās tomorrow. I'll unfollow him on Twitter and I'll join you in your witch hunt. Just tell me.
What has he done?
Salafi or not Salafi? Hizbi or not Hizbi? And what's your proof? Tell me where he has opposed قال الله قال رسوله, the religion of Allah, and he has gone against the aqidah to Salafi or the manhaj, and I'm with you.
And this and that's my biggest issue. Like, even if Taib, he could make a mistake, but just at least clarify with detail, with Quran and Sunnah, because nobody's above the Sharia.
Of course,
nobody.
Of course.
So we have no problem with just saying, "Khalas, I'm done with him." However, if you haven't brought it to me, that way I can even bring it to him. Or you haven't talked to him directly with this Quran and Sunnah, sitting down, sitting with Mashaykh, etc. Taib.
Guess what the answer is? I'm sure you know what the answer is. Go on, tell me what the answer is.
For what?
Why should I drop Ilyās and not be with him? Give me the proof. What is it? What's wrong with him?
The
brothers know, or it's known.
He's not with the brothers. He's not
with the brothers.
Yeah, that's what it is. So that shows more you.
What? I mean,
you remember those points?
That is the definition of Hizbiyya.
Exactly,
you're telling me to drop this guy because he's not with these guys. So now, do I love and hate for the sake of Allah? But I need to start loving and hating people and having allegiance and disallegiance based on them being with the brothers. Between quote unquote.
May Allah rectify our affairs, man. I hope that, I'm not calling anybody Salafi. Hizbi. However, I get your point, and I definitely agree. Like, I believe that this is a Hizbi tendency. That we need to make sure that we we stay away from, because this is what our ulama warned us against. This is what Quran and Sunnah warns us against. So we all gotta, and we all make mistakes, but we all need to make sure we rectify our affairs and our mistakes, and inshallah can bring about togetherness. Akhi, we gotta stop there. I gotta go to work. Jazakumullah khair for coming. Akhi, really, it was a nice conversation. Alhamdulillah, we went 3 hours, so you definitely holding a record now. So
okay, so if the audience appreciates, mashallah, our brother joining us and all this hard work and the 3 hours and everything.
Here it goes.
Make sure you comment, you like, subscribe. I know you're too shy to ask, but we have to remind the people.
And also, if you want to send people back to the actual lectures,
send it to me. I'll put it in the description.
Saga, I'll send it
I'll
to
put it in the description.
You find it in the description. There's a liberalism one and feminism.
ممتاز. والله أعلم وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد.